So break it down before we get to Caviar Dreamz. Okay. How did we go from Motown situation to the 2 Chainz situation? How did that transition into each other?
Well, Motown, I was the first rapper signed to Motown in like 2000. I was signed with them for like 2 years, going on 2 years. I was able to get out of my Motown situation really by a verbal, not even say a verbal breach of contract, but it was just like a verbal agreement between me and T.R.U. Massenburg. Like, in my first album, I was supposed to have 2 video options. My second single was with Tiny from Escape, it was called Creep. That was gonna be that one, you know what I mean? But you know, when you sign to a label, you kind of really don't know. So some of the things it's a huge compromise. So Motown kind of, said, all right, we want to go with this single first. We're gonna follow up with this. The Nokia single ended up being the first record. They loved that. It did pretty cool, but being that it was the first rap or urban project on Motown, it was like they really didn't have the knowledge or urban connects. You know what I mean? They didn't have all the DJ clues in pocket. They were more known for breaking R&B music, so it was just roads that hadn't been exhausted. You know what I mean? So my project was kind of like the guinea pig for to set up Motown's urban division. You feel me? And so they wanted to kind of just fast forward the project and go to a second album. When I still felt like we had strong records on the first album, we didn't live up to all the fulfillment of the paperwork. So it was just kind of like we had our back and forth about it. I was really strong on the Creep record, and then I was just like, I'm cool. Like I don't want, I was just kind of like, I'm not showing up to shit. It was the artist standoff. I'm not doing shit. You feel me? And then Kedar was just basically like, well, if he don't want to be here, I won't hold him. I don't want to keep an artist that's not happy. And being that it was a breach and all the terms wasn't filled, I was able to get out of my contract and get some paper. You know what I mean? Like, kick me like a 50 clip. You feel me? Off the walk. So I'm cool. Like, so I piped up. Shit, did what anybody would have did. So the transitioning into the 2 Chainz situation is pretty much like Shauna from Chicago is like a sister to me. During that Motown run, I had a record called Chi-Town Finest with me, Twista, and Shauna. It was a crazy record. I was doing radio runs. I was in Atlanta. Chris Lover, who also at that time was Chris Lover. Y'all know him as Chris Ludacris. I went to grade school with the boy, you know what I mean? So that's like one of my homeboys from back in the day. At that time, he was an on-air personality. I came through doing radio run, off-air, playing some records, played the lady, Chi-Town Finest. Bro, this shit crazy. I need a female record for this ideal I got. Long story short, put them in tune. That's how you got the Fantasy record. Shauna ended up signing with DTP. Being on the road with them, I would come out, not necessarily doing spot dates, but just in support of like kicking it with Sus, you know what I mean? And me and Tit, we just clicked, and we just been 100 ever since. Like, we just the same type of nigga, just 2 different walks of life. And it was always a matter of whoever get there first, we just stand down, you know what I mean? And there you have it.
Now, as far as Chainz, what's the biggest advice you received from him, or the most important thing you learned being around him?
Work ethic. That everything gonna catch up, you know what I mean, eventually. So if you pre-plan for it to be what it's gonna be, you're not gonna be in panic mode. A lot of artists don't prepare for the success. They get one record and they get comfortable. Like, even when bro was at this going higher and higher every time, like, every song on the radio, he's still every day in the studio. He still wasn't just in the streets kicking shit, you know what I mean? It's just that work ethic. It was just the fact of you only as good as the last record, so you just got to keep grinding. Like, he probably in the studio right now. So it just really was just work ethic.